Hello, welcome to the LV podcast with Michelle Hall. Yeah, that's me. Listen, this is a new season, and we're so excited of everything that's coming up this season. But this first one for this first episode of the season is just going to be me and you. Me and you. Family, the topic is plan, plan, plan. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what it looks like to plan ahead and things don't quite, go together the way you expect it to because of life happening. So there are different kinds of people. You have the planners, the people that plan everything out. They know what's happening from the beginning to the end, in the middle. They even think of alternative scenarios, all of that. Then you have me. People think I'm the planner just because of things that are executed, but you become the planner because you have a call or you have a task to do, and guess what? You failed before. So that meant there were times that I actually missed the mark, or I thought something didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. And so people like me, we begin to learn from our mistakes and we start to plan. And that's great. But with that, whether you're a planner, whether you're like me, you kind of become one, it can drive you like nuts, y'all. It can drive you nuts. And so when I came up with this topic, when this topic was given to me, I kept seeing plan, plan, plan. We plan, we plan things. We plan how our life should unfold. We plan things out, and we know that even though us as believers, the ones that are believers in Jesus Christ, we know that God is in charge. But sometimes it doesn't look like it. We forget it. We actually forget that he's the one that's in charge, and he's orders our steps, right? So looking at this planning situation, y'all, when I became a planner, and I still don't consider myself a planner, but when I became a planner that's task oriented based on past mistakes, it drove me crazy. Let me tell you why. And I don't know, I think you can relate to this. Y'all can definitely relate to this. What ended up happening is I would have it set because of something that happened before. I literally put everything in order. So if you guys don't know, some of you just learning who I am, I have been, maybe about the last 3 years, I've been a red carpet host. I've been doing a lot of red carpet events in area of Christian programming. I'm actually here doing one now. And a lot of the times when it first started, I was like, okay, I never did this before. How is this happening? I'm a media person. I've been in radio for a long time. Went to school for communications. All of those things. But I'd never been a red carpet host. So now I was asked to do something I didn't do before, and so I did it, and had a great partner at the time, and so he had done it, so we just co-hosted together. Great experience, y'all. I was able to flow. But then other opportunities came, and I put so much pressure on myself because I felt like, no, I had to be perfect. It had to be right. Everything had to go right. And because it was, if it didn't go right, I'm going to and try to make sure I had everything right. So I go to my next event, and I get there. It's a big opportunity, y'all. It is a big opportunity. I did a red carpet. It was for a movie film, and I was asked to be one of the hosts, at the media hosts, at the red carpet. So I'm nervous. I'm excited. I brought my camera. I brought some lighting. I had my mic. Everything was set. Went to put on my camera. Went to put on the mic. Guess what, y'all? All these beautiful people, there was no sound. How could this happen? I am at a major premiere. How could this happen? Well, family, I planned, but it just didn't work out at the time. So that put me in a new place, a new time, a new moment, a moment called panic. And I know you guys have been there. You guys been right there when you're in the middle of something and it's not going as planned. What do you do? How do you handle it? Well, I had someone with me, and guess what? I literally had to do video at the same time with an iPhone, another iPhone, to make sure I had those the audio moments. I had to switch out all of these things just so this could be. Mind you, I am at a premiere, y'all. It's a movie, a Christian movie premiere. My second time doing a red carpet. I have been doing radio media for years, but now I'm thinking, it's my brand. It's how I'm looking. How do I look? What is this? What's going to happen now? And it made me panic. And I forgot that God was in charge. I forgot he was the one that was in charge. And then all of a sudden, as everything started to happen, I just felt so ashamed. I felt like people were already thinking I wasn't a professional. I had all these thoughts in my head. Does this sound familiar? Because I believe that you are connecting with this. And you know the LV podcast, I take you on my life journey. I take you on where I've been and what's helped me along the way. And so literally, I had to stop for the moment. I could have had a meltdown. I could have walked away. I could have been upset that things didn't go as planned or I anticipated. But I chose to push through. And not just push through, you have to push through the feelings and the emotions because it's not going as planned, what ends up happening, you find yourself like wanting to stop, wanting to move away, wanting to give up, wanting to shift. Like it's not that, like, I can't do this, let me just go. But I had to push forward. And because I pushed forward, listen, I still had a product. I still, people actually saw who I was and saw my brand. So I just want to tell y'all, I know that you plan things. And even when you plan things and it messes up, it doesn't mean you don't continue to plan. You just have to allow latitude. You have to allow yourself, first of all, forgive yourself, give yourself some grace. God expects us to give grace to others. He gives grace to us. But sometimes we don't give grace to ourselves. We get so hard on ourselves, and when, because of what we planned, didn't work out the way we expected. And then guess what? What next? We think it's all over. And we use that. That's going to bring me to the next point, that sometimes we miss out on what God really had planned, right? Sometimes in that moment, I found myself for a few minutes, I had to take a break for a second because I didn't want to miss the moment because the moment wasn't unfolding the way I expected. You can't just miss the moment because by putting all that pressure and being upset or focusing on what everyone's thinking or what it looks like, you are not in the moment to see what God has planned, and he can unfold something beautiful in that very moment. But if you're thinking of everything else, you miss out. So what I'm going to tell you, as we're planning and as you're going forward, allow latitude and allow grace. Listen, I'm just telling you what I've been doing, what I've learned. That's what the LV is about. Yeah, so you have to remember that as as God gives us grace, and he expects us to give each other grace. But there's something I said before, and I'm going to go back to it. You have to not only give yourself grace, you got to learn how to give yourself grace. You got to learn how to give yourself grace. What does giving yourself grace look like? Okay, so I'm going to go back into that moment. The moment that I can say is, for me, giving myself grace looked like, Michelle, it's okay. Michelle, all you need to do is continue. Don't give up. You've got to continue. And how does that look? So at that moment, I had to make a determination. The mic that was attached to my system was not connecting for some reason. It could only connect to an iPhone. But at the time, I had to decide, okay, what am I going to do at this point? So guess what? I went ahead, I went live. I did some things that were close up. I went ahead and made an adjustment. My goddaughter was with me, and so she was able to connect to that mic, and she did it in video form. So guess what? As I went live, and then I uploaded the videos, and I did it in real time. So even though I couldn't do live at the red carpet the way I wanted to, it was still live. But in the midst of it, guess what? Let me tell you, when you say giving yourself grace, I'm going to tell you, and I don't know why I'm on this. I don't know why God has me on this, because sometimes when we're going through these things, people don't know how to see how it applies in real life. You see someone, you see me here. You see me here sitting, you see me here talking to you, and you think, she looks like she has it together. Her thoughts, she looks like doesn't have a bad day. Let me tell you. That's why what's the LV is about, because it talks about the tosses and turns that happen in a funny way. Can I tell you something? That day, it looked like I was in a comedy show for a second. Now, other people looking at it may not have seen it, but everything that was going on internally, it felt like a comedy show. Trying to get my tripod, trying to get this, trying to get there, doing something new. And you had all these other people that looked like they had it all together. And then I came in, but people said, oh my gosh, you look like she knows what she's doing and everything. But it wasn't, y'all. But God knew that, and he knew that that's how the day was going to be. He knew at that moment that I was going to have a challenge, and he wanted me to do something called accept what God allows. And so in the planning, and you're giving yourself grace, you have to allow the accept what God allows perspective. You have to add that in. You've got to add that in your planning time. You've got to add accept what God allows. Because what happens is when you walk through certain things, and then all of a sudden you're like, God, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Why is this going on? Why is this concerning to you? Why did you allow it to happen to me? But you got to get a place where you say, God, I accept what you allow. And when you put that in the mixing of what you're doing, when you actually take that and put that in the mix and what's going on, you put that factor in the accept what God allows factor in the mix. When you actually do that, let me tell you, y'all, it opens you up for so many different things, because now what you didn't plan for but was really planned for, you get to walk in and you get the benefits of that. But sometimes we find ourselves that because we plan so much, plan. This can't go wrong. Nothing can go wrong. And it's my fault if something goes wrong. Nothing can go wrong. We literally are telling God, you don't got to be involved with this. I got this. So to my planners, it's great to plan. To the ones that become planners because of past situations, that's also how you learn. Because guess what? I learned at that moment, okay, I needed to get certain things beforehand. And can I tell y'all, some personalities, some things, the way God made us, some people like that, it's not quite like that. Some people have to have a shorter lead time, but have everything in place. Some people need longer lead times. But can I tell you, God made you. And so he knows everything that you need. And as you learn and he starts to show you and you have him in the planning, because it's his plan after all, things will unfold that you didn't even think about. So I talked about the factor, the accept what God allows factor. And with that being said, I really have to tell you, I need y'all to listen to this song from Eric B. Eric B. He has a single out that's called Accept What God Allows. Accepting what God allows will put you in such a different place. It actually puts you in a place that the unexpected miracles happen in your life. That's what it does. When you accept what God allows, it puts you in a new place of unexpected miracles that happen in your life. So you're planning, and then you add the accept what God allows factor. What ends up happening, you get to walk into the very plan of God for your life. that you couldn't even, ask or think. It couldn't even come into your mind what it looks like. But God knows, and he has a blueprint, and he's got the plan, and he's got it. He just needs us to trust him. And when we get the moment, when we get into that moment where I doubted myself, or I felt like I wasn't good enough to do it, or I felt like I didn't have what it took to do it, what it takes to do what I'm called to do, I sit and he reminds me, I'm in charge. Would you take your hand off of it? I know you planned. I made you. I gave you the mind. I gave you the wherewithal to do what you need to do. But allow me to be God in the situation. Allow me to be God in your situation. So what I'm saying, I'm not telling you not to plan. It's not a bad thing to plan. 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 Not a bad thing. But you have to have the God factor. Accept what God allows in your situation. And then you'll walk into such a new thing and such a wonderful thing that you're like, wow, there's a peace that comes with that. You see, because when the mishaps happen, you're able to be flexible. And you're able to pivot. That my mentor says, it's just a slight turn. It's just a slight turn. So you got to put the God factor in there and accept what God allows. So listen, family. Up next, not only are you going to get to go ahead and download the song. Up next, you're going to hear Eric B. with "Accept What God Allows" on the LV Podcast with me, Michelle Hall. We'll be right back.
Challenges of life can oftentimes be more than we can bear. But don't lose hope. You just gotta believe, trust the process, and accept what God allows. Life is filled with uncertainty, tragedies we can't seem to understand. Questions why the tears that we cry. Don't ask how, just accept what God allows. And can you tell him about the load?
The load you carry, it may seem heavy.
He said, come to me.
I'm all you need. This is only a test.
I know it may seem unfair.
God knows and he cares. Don't ask how. Just accept what God allows.
Listen. Just continue to look to the hills from which cometh your help. Know that all your help is coming from the Lord. Don't give up and don't you fall apart.
Lift up your heads. Hold fast to
His word.
He has your interest at heart.
And what you're going through, just know
We can. This too shall pass. Just trust in him. Only believe it all works out just the way he knows how deep the pain you feel.
declares that many are the afflictions of the righteous, but how many know that the Lord delivereth from them all? You gotta continue to hang on. Don't give up. Don't give in. Can't give up now.
Just accept what
Said you can't give up now. No. I know it hurts deep inside, but you're gonna be alright. So hold on until the end. Even if you fail, you can try again.
Listen, I know you enjoy that song, Accept What God Allows, from Eric B. Eric B is an awesome artist. Go ahead, download all his stuff. But that song especially, Accept What God Allows. So we're coming to the close of this episode. How y'all feeling? I hope you're feeling well. I know I'm feeling better, even just going back over that. Remember, it's okay to plan. It's okay to think ahead. But don't try to outthink God. That's the part. Sometimes we try to outthink God, and we did not include him in the plan, and then when he comes in and changes it and shifts it and pivots it and does all that stuff, then we're like, we think, why did this happen to me? Not knowing all God is trying to do, all he is doing, he's perfecting you, he's growing you, he is getting you into position. And so what looks like a disappointment, or what looks like what's happening to my brand, as everybody's talking. What's going on with my brand? That's not what I thought. I thought it was going to be something different. Listen, we said we have to have the God factor. We have to accept what God allows in the middle of it. So in your planning, in your getting, just like the Bible said, you have to get an understanding. You need to understand the flow. If he's called you to do it, planning, why do you think in planning they have something called a flow chart. Literally, if you talk to any project manager, anybody who is starting something, they have a flow of command, a flow of tasks. They got a flow. It's a flow in the planning. You can't have such rigid planning that you don't have a flow. You don't allow God to flow through your plans. Because sometimes he'll literally, I've been in situations, y'all, that he literally shifted the plan. I thought I was going to leave at one time, and then 2-3 hours later, I'm leaving. Then I get to the place. Then it's like, I thought I was going to be here. And then it's a total different thing. It's a total turnaround. And at the end, it is everything that he planned. And guess what? The reason why you still have to plan is because you're getting things from him. You actually know what the picture's going to look like, right? So the thing about it, if you don't spend time to hear from him, put something down, put your plans together. Those planners, I told you, I'm not one of them. I'm not the one that plan from beginning to end. I became that. I became that through past experiences. I became that because God taught me stuff through things. So I have to make an effort to work on all those the details and all of those things. But God, I needed the gift to be perfected. So sometimes there's things that need to be perfected in you. It's not that I don't know how to do it. I don't have what it needs. I don't have what it takes. It's not that. He already put it in you, but now he's cultivating and perfecting it. And in order for it to be you to be cultivated and perfected, you have to allow some things. Allow him to move in your life and shift some things and uproot some things and do some things to put you in the place. Now, one of my favorite things, scriptures, Ecclesiastes 3, and it says, to everything there's a season and a time. When I understood that how God was taking me and showing me what life was about, if you read that scripture, you'll see it says, it's a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up which is planted. All of those things, it's the same cycle. Whatever you read, you'll see. You go into the ground, you're broken, you're crushed, you're birthed. It comes up. It is the same cycle that's happening over and over and over again. And so when you're looking at life, you're like, why is this happening? Why do I have to go through this thing again? Why does it look like I'm going through all of these things? It's part of the process, y'all. Because remember, at the end, if you read at the end of the scripture, he says, I make everything beautiful in my time. So that means when I was crushed and put up in that ground and it was dark and there was nobody there, I felt like there was no one there to support me. But God was there with me. And then guess what? There was a time, it was time to pluck up. It was time for me to grow and harvest and flourish and bloom. And God was with me. And guess what? There's a time that I'm blooming and you're looking at me blooming but don't know what's going on in behind the scenes. Guess what? I'm back in the ground again. I'm back in the ground again. And that's part of the process. So listen, first of all, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for spending the time with me, going on this journey with me. The LV podcast is here for your needs to encourage you and take you on your journey, the journey that I go on. And hopefully it'll encourage you. So remember, go through your day, your week in victory, knowing that God can do anything but fail. This has been the LV Podcast with your host, me, Michelle Hall. And until next time, be blessed.
At the LV with Michelle Hall. At the LV with Michelle Hall.